Game day exclusive on Talksport. Faker Others, Alan Pardew and Jim Proudfoot with you live from Stamford Bridge for an 8 p.m. Premier League commentary with managerless and winless Wolves taking on a Chelsea side who could go second with a win tonight. The players' warm-ups are over. They're finishing their final preparations. Pards, is this going to be as straightforward for Chelsea as we're expecting?
To be honest, I can't really see Wolves getting anything today. I just don't know. I think the crux of this game really is how many changes Chelsea make each week. Can they get a balance? Can they get a rhythm going early? If they get into a rhythm, it's going to be very, very difficult for Wolves.
Yeah, it is going to be tough with everything that's going on at the moment behind the scenes as well. No manager after Vitor Pereira was sacked last week. But actually, it's not been that straightforward for Chelsea this season. And Enzo Maresca has talked particularly about their defensive frailties. That 2-2 draw against Karabag in the Champions League midweek, he said they made silly errors in that, and they are prone to that this season. Yeah,
defensively they do make errors, they take chances. I mean, Dilap comes back in the side tonight. I think he gives them like a real figurehead at the top of the pitch, and I think that'll be important. Pedro in behind, I like the look of that. Neto one side, Garnacho the other side, so, you know, this is a real kind of offensive line-up. Fernandes has gone back one, but obviously he brings that attacking intent from that kind of number 8 position. So they've got plenty in the team to cause Wolves all sorts of problems tonight, and I expect them to. This is a great occasion for them. You know, it's a team that really are struggling for confidence they're up against. They're at home. They really should steamroller them, really.
They should do, but on paper, football doesn't work like that,
It does not, Faye.
As we saw at 5:30, because Sunderland, albeit they are third in the table, so, you know, they are doing absolutely brilliantly, but they took points off Arsenal, and actually that puts more pressure in some ways on this Chelsea performance and this Chelsea result, because Chelsea are going to be expected to try and take advantage of the fact that Arsenal have dropped points.
Yeah, I mean, there's a remembrance service now, Faye, is that...
We're going to be thrown to that in a second, don't worry. The players are going to be coming out soon. But yes, you're exactly right. There are tributes across here at Stamford Bridge with members of the armed forces all around the centre circle as we await the players coming out to the liquidator, as they always do. Pards, do you want to carry on with that point?
Yeah, I just think that Wolves, you know, in terms of what they need to do tonight, they really need to be at it from the start, and I wouldn't take any chances against this Chelsea team. They're so powerful, so quick, and I expect them to play high pressure, so Wolves be very, very kind of conservative where they play. So I think they need to get it in that kind of half of Chelsea and see if they can get some possession, take some kind of hit out of it.
Absolutely, and as Pards mentioned there is a remembrance commemoration taking place here at Stamford Bridge. So I'm going to hand you over to our commentary team this evening for our live and exclusive Premier League commentary between Chelsea and Wolves, with Alan Pardew and Jim Proudfoot.
Thank you, Faye, and a very good evening to you. As the only team in the 92 without a league win seek the victory that could transform their season. The second year in a row, Wolves reach one-quarter distance, staring at mission improbable, but this season they've acted more quickly in pursuit of the catalyst for change. Vitor Pereira may have been the man to turn things around dramatically 12 months ago, but the power brokers have deemed a repeat unlikely. So with him dismissed and Rob Edwards set to take charge, they begin the quest to survive from a position that no other Premier League club has ever managed to get out of before. Their 11th attempt to find that elusive first win brings them to Stamford Bridge to face a Chelsea side who could end the night second, getting blown more hot and cold than a defective hairdryer. Impressive wins against Liverpool and Spurs have been balanced by defeats here to Brighton and Sunderland. An erratic nature, perhaps a byproduct of a young team, a short summer, and the intense workload of domestic and European commitments. The Blues' defensive errors gave Wolves a sniff of a comeback against Chelsea in the League Cup 10 days ago. But if they don't win again 10 days on, it will be one of the most eye-catching results of the season so far. Chelsea have now made 53 changes in their last 6 games. They line up with Sanchez in goal. A back four of Gusto, Fofana, Chalobah and Cucurella. Enzo Fernandes and Caicedo. Neto and Garnacho out wide with Joao Pedro behind Delap, who replaces Reece James in the one change to the team that won at Spurs last weekend. Wolves caretaker boss James Collins makes 4 changes to Vitor Pereira's last team. Johnston's in goal. To back three of Santi Bueno, Krejci and Totti. The 9th different defensive combination to start in Wolves' 11 Premier League games this season. Chachua and Hugo Bueno are at wing-back. Andre and Joao Gomez in central midfield, with Bellegarde and Hwang off Strand Larsen up front. On the Chelsea bench, Jurgensen, Tosin, James, Achiampong and Harto. Andre Santos, Gittins, Esteban, Mark Guiu. For Wolves, it's Jose Sarr, Wolfer, Mosquera, Munetsi and Hoover, Shirewa, Arias and Arakadare, and 18-year-old striker Mateus Mane. But before the game starts, Remembrance Weekend will be marked here at Stamford Bridge by the laying of wreaths, and the Bugler's last post will be silently observed by supporters to commemorate all of those who were killed, injured and affected during the course of giving service for their country. And the presentation party march impeccably from this near touchline to the edge of the centre circle. It's a 5-strong party, 4 of them now bend down and lay wreaths, flanking the bugler.
At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them, lest we forget. Following a period of silence, we will hear the last post sounded by Corporal Kristen Richards from the band of the Royal Air Force Regiment.
During that very emotional rendition of the last post, a big flag passed across the Matthew Harding stand with a big picture of a poppy that simply said, Chelsea remembers. Well, the history books have written Wolves off already. No side in the Premier League's ever stayed up after taking just 2 points in their first 10 games. But will a change at the helm bring a change in fortune? Chelsea away, a tough start for the post-Pereira reign, and beating a side in Wolves' predicament is an essential requirement for any club with the Blues' ambitions. I'm delighted Alan Pardew's alongside me. Pardew, what are you expecting this evening?
Well, firstly, may I say, I was very moving remembrance service there. It was lovely. You know, this is a very much a team that really are trying to find some kind of form. At Fulham last week, there was no balance. They were making errors. They looked a lack of confidence. But of course, the one beauty of the Premier League is that you restart. So, you know, this week that have worked on stuff, he's brought a bit more experience into the team. So I expect Wolves to give a much better showing than they did at Fulham, but they're up against a much better side in Chelsea. So let's see how we get on. It looks like to me one of the games where it's easy to predict, but let's see what happens.
Well, Premier League history is riddled with matches that are easy to predict and end up going in a completely different direction. Will this be one of those? Wolves in the famous gold shirts, black shorts, kicking from left to right, defending the shed end in this first half, and Chelsea in their customary royal blue. Just reiterate that point I made whilst reading the team news. 53
yeah,
Chelsea
that's amazing,
changes in
isn't it?
6 games.
I mean, he has so many options, almost, in abundance. And unfortunately, that sometimes does put you under pressure to play people. And I don't know whether, he feels like he needs to play everybody. He's certainly rotating them all.
First long ball play forward towards Liam Delap. I was going to say comfortably claimed by Sam Johnston. Certainly claimed by Sam Johnston. Had to use the full length of his penalty area. Chelsea in possession in the heart of the midfield. And the ball just squeezing a fraction wide of Joao Pedro. And goes out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Wolves' left. The Wolves' blueprint, long established, invariably a back three. And that's the way that James Collins has gone for this solitary game. In charge in this caretaker spell. We're expecting that Rob Edwards will be announced as the new Wolves manager either tomorrow or Monday morning. Don't appear to be any last-minute hitches as the ball is played in by Joao Pedro, knocked away, and Strand Larsen chests it down. Cucurella is in there, and now Garnacho will be able to take it on. Santi Bueno, with an agricultural challenge to stop him, has conceded a free kick a couple of yards to the left-hand side of the penalty area and about 10-12 from the dead ball line.
Yeah, I mean, the two wide players for Chelsea, they've got that great ability to take full-back on, take centre-backs on and get behind this defence. And that's exactly what I would have liked to have seen if I was the manager of Chelsea. Garnacho's got it. Bang, he's gone straight at the defender. And he's drawn a great situation here because the foul is just, 16 yards, just on the side of the box.
So Pedro Neto standing over this, the Wolves old boy. Everybody for Wolves is back inside their own penalty area, as you would expect. All within 14 or 15 yards of Sam Johnston's goal. 2 in the wall to protect the cheeky one in towards the near post. Cucurella stands at the bottom left-hand corner of the 6-yard box, maybe wanting to try and flick the ball on. Delap lurking with intent in behind him. What's the delivery going to be like? Enzo going for goal. Good save, Johnston. He was angled towards the top right-hand corner. That was one of those old Zola ones where he used to bend it in, and if nobody got a touch, so much the better. That was close and kept Johnston honest. Decent save.
It was a great save, actually, because it was going in the top corner. Sometimes, when you hit that free kick, you want to just fire it at that far post, and strikers can dive across it. It was too high for that. Almost crept in right at the top corner. Good save.
So, in the 4th minute, 0-0, and the first corner on the Chelsea right-hand side. Bending towards that near post again. It's Cucurella that guides it back in. Wolves can clear from the edge of their own 6-yard box with Bellegarde. Plenty of time for Malo Gusto at the back for Chelsea, who's the deepest lying of their plays. He finds Sanchez much, much closer to the edge of the centre circle than his own penalty area as he controls that, and now plays it out for Moise Caicedo, who can find Alejandro Garnacho. Chelsea with their foot on the Wolves' throat in the early stages. Joao Pedro trying to turn the ball forwards. Well intercepted by Andre, one of the Brazilians in the heart of midfield. But Chelsea have it back almost instantly. Garnacho! Maybe went the wrong side of Johnston and gave him the opportunity to make a more comfortable save than he might have done. But Sam Johnston has made 2 very important stops inside the opening 4 minutes here.
Well, Garnacho should score. I mean, it's a great save, but Garnacho should score. It's a great ball by Fernandes. He's just dinked it over the centre half's head. Garnacho's come off the side, and he should finish that. Unfortunately for Wolves, he hasn't.
He's got it again, Garnacho, wearing 49, controlling it on the Chelsea left. Garnacho playing on the left and Pedro Neto on the right. So Wolves fans you can hear at the moment with more songs of dissent towards their club's owners, wanting Fosun out. Ball laid out to the right-hand side for Chelsea, with Pedro Neto, who made 135 appearances for Wolves before his £54 million move south. Just lays it through the midfield now towards Cucurella. Cucurella with a clever little reverse ball, trying to get it round the back of Chachua. Garnacho made the run, but the full-back was able to get it away. Picked up again by Trevor Chalobah. Chalobah forward towards Gusto. Neto over on the right-hand side. In terms of territory in the opening 5 minutes, it's all Chelsea. Yeah. I mean, I don't think Wolves have had a touch of the ball in Chelsea's half so far.
We're camped in. It could be a long night for Wolves.
0-0 score, 5 minutes in. Jim Proudfoot and Alan Pardew talking you through the action on a mild night here in West London. As the ball is delivered by Gusto and the cross is blocked. Doesn't quite go out of play. It's kept in over on that far touchline. Poor Wolves defending, allowing that. And the ball worked across Cucurella, who will have to scamper to his left-hand side. Can bring it under control to find Garnacho. Back from him to Cucurella again. Cucurella to Enzo Fernandez, who's just eased away by Santi Bueno. Chelsea working with Fofana. Back out towards Pedro Neto. Left-footed ball in from him. Cleared by Krejci, who's the heart of the Wolves back five today. Now Gusto chops it back onto his left foot and delivers. Joao Pedro flicks it on. Cucurella! And then it's headed just wide by Enzo Fernandez. Well, I don't know whether you caught the Richarlison goal earlier in that Spurs-Manchester United game where he's in a position around the edge of the 6-yard box and he instinctively throws his head at it. That, not dissimilar there from Enzo Fernandez. Wrong-footed the keeper, but it went just wide.
Almost exactly the same. It's a shot by Cucurella in the first place, but he just guides it, Fernandez, to the bottom corner, and it just misses. I mean, it was a well-worked move by Chelsea. I mean, as much as Wolves are playing deep and camped in, that's very much the theme at the moment in terms of what we're seeing. But Chelsea are moving it fast, going from side to side and getting around the back and then looking for that insertive pass. So it was a good little start for Chelsea.
Well, we're 7 minutes in. Chelsea have had 4 attempts, 2 of them on target. Johnson's made 2 important saves. It's still 0-0. And Cucurella plays it forward. Wolves flicking it from Bellegarde to Andre, and now it's Joao Gomez who gets the instruction to turn. He's inside the centre circle. Hugo Bueno to his left. It's another lovely turn in the midfield and a good ball as well down towards Chachua, who will come forward from right wing back. His delivery, out comes Sanchez, gets something on it, can claw it away from Bellegarde, and then Gusto will do the rest to clear. That was much better from Wolves.
Yeah, much better. They got a bit of possession, and it's very important when you come, particularly against the big sides, when you're coming away from home, to keep possession and give yourself some confidence. They got about a 6-7 pass sequence, and then the ball come out here to the right wing back. He puts a great cross in, and Ray did actually very well to cut that out. It was a very good opportunity.
So still 0-0 on a day that Arsenal have conceded the first time their defence has been breached for 13 hours and 32 minutes. Dan Ballard scoring for Sunderland, and then Brian Brobby scoring the 4th minute of stoppage time to deny Arsenal the victory. So their lead at the top of the table at the moment is 7, ahead of Manchester City, who play tomorrow. So City could get it down to 4 if they're victorious. Chelsea, meantime, can end the day in second by winning this. They're currently 8th, but will go up 6 points with 6 places with a victory. Here's Neto getting towards the byline. Ball inside the box is followed away by Tony Gomez. It goes out of play for the Wolves captain for a throw that'll be taken. Gusto on the Chelsea right. The other Premier League results today, another thrilling 2-2 draw with stoppage time action. A goal at either end in stoppage time between Spurs and Manchester United in our first live Premier League game of the day. Everton beat Fulham 2-0. West Ham beat Burnley by the odd goal in 5 back-to-back wins. Is Delap coming forward inside the penalty area. Can't really get any purchase in his shot, which trickles through for Sam Johnston. A game of the day also in the Championship, also live on Talksport 2. Coventry winning that at Stoke. And the Norwich boss Liam Manning sacked after Norwich's 8th home defeat in a row this season. And they lost to a stoppage time goal at home to Leicester. It's 11 without a win for the Canaries, and Liam Manning relieved of his duties on the back of that result. Wolves have got a free kick here.
Yeah, this is exactly what Wolves want to do. They want to slow this kind of momentum down that Chelsea have got. They had a couple of other big chances there and just got snuffed it out. Actually, some decent defending by Wolves. But they've got a free kick now in Chelsea territory. They're taking, as you would expect, a little bit of time, and quite right.
Yeah, Hwang was the player that was fouled, and he's got himself up without the need for treatment, but he's still feeling the small of his back. And a pretty hefty whack that he took. Free kick is taken. Bellegarde chipping it over the Chelsea back line to the left-hand side of the penalty area. It's headed into the fray and then cleared by Fofana. And Liam Delap trying to bring it forward down the right-hand touchline was fouled. And a free kick to Chelsea in their right-back position. Entertaining opening 10 minutes, but still 0-0 out.
Yeah, I mean, Wolves, to be fair to them, have done well. You know, they don't look as dishevelled as they did at Fulham. Fulham started really fast last week, and they just looked like they just wasn't together as a team. But tonight, there's a much better shape to them. You can see the shape. We're sitting up really high, so it's really evident for us. It's a 5-3 kind of 1-1 system, and at the moment they're kind of just getting into the game a little bit more.
Yeah, they've got Hwang playing off Strand Larsen up front, Bellegarde just dropping in and on the right hand side of a midfield three.
Yeah.
Chelsea work possession out to the far touchline, which is their right. They're attacking the shed end in this first half here on Talksport. Fofana into the feet of Malo Gusto, and straight back for Wesley Fofana again. In terms of the team news, if you're just joining us, Chelsea making one change to the side that won at Spurs last week. Here's Garnacho getting to the byline. Johnston again got an important hand to it. Beat the cross away from the on-rushing Delap. And Wolves win a free kick as they try and bring it clear. They've taken it quickly. That's actually invited pressure on Andre, who is forced to use the emergency exit of his goalkeeper behind him. And his long ball forward is flicked on by Bellegarde down towards Strand Larsen, who almost ends up in a hug with Enzo Maresca. But both managed to get out of each other's way, and it remains 0-0.
What a move that was. I mean, it looked like that was a training ground move, because Fernandes just hit a blind pass on the inside of the fullback. Garnacho had already set off, and he was completely in. And he got down out the left-hand side to pull it back, and actually couldn't find a striker. There didn't seem to be anyone clear, actually. So it was not much to try and find. And Johnson done well again. But that was a great, world-class pass for Fernandes. He started this game really well.
He's forced the best save out of Johnston with that. A clever free kick from the left-hand side of the penalty area that very nearly crept over him. That's the closest we've come to a goal so far. Students of XG, Chelsea's XG already very nearly won. So effectively a goal better than Wolves in the opening 13 minutes. Wolves hanging in there, though, thanks to their goalkeeper. And here's Enzo Fernandez in possession. Finding Fofana, and he goes straight back again. Once more to Enzo. Chelsea slowing things down and playing a very neat, crisp passing football over a short range. Cucurella down towards Garnacho, who had a slow start to his Chelsea career, but finding his feet now. Chalobah getting it forward for Fofana. Fofana able to turn. No pressure on him or the ball as Chelsea can bring it forward. They work it into the feet of Caicedo in the midfield. João Pedro drops deep to blink up the play. Now Cucurella goes back for Chalobah again. Another little 1-2 between the pair of them. And Fofana decides the time is right to motor forward into Wolves' territory. He's made 20 yards, but his ball forward was poor. Wolves just for a moment have a 4 against 3. Able to work it forward. Chalobah is backing off quickly. Ball slipped to the left-hand side for Strand Larsen. Maybe turned the wrong way and allowed Fofana to come back goal side of him really quickly. And that Wolves counter-attack has fizzled out as quickly as it started.
What a chance for Wolves that was. And Larsen, who was going down the left-hand side, got put in, and he just took a bad touch. And in the end, instead of getting a shot off, he had to turn back, and they've lost possession. But what a turnover that was. You know, they're kind of drawing Chelsea out by saying to one of their centre-halves, you're the spare man, come on, come bring the ball forward. And on that occasion, Chalobah did and got caught in possession. And Wolves broke. It's actually a good tactical ploy by them.
Enzo Fernandez sends a high ball spinning out towards Pedro Neto. It's faced up by Hugo Bueno to a chorus of boos from the Wolves fans. Gusto pushing forward towards the edge of the penalty area. Maybe just had his toe trodden on as he tried to get a shot in. Cucurella can have an attempt on goal that has fired way high and way wide, and Augusto has gone down and might need a little bit of treatment. It's 0-0 here. You're listening to Chelsea against Wolves on Talksport with Sky Sports. And don't forget, you can stream Sky Sports Big Weekend, including Chelsea against Wolves live right now. Available with no contract on Now. Search Now Sports. 15 minutes in, and still goals between Chelsea and Wolves on Talksport.
Yeah, you know, James Collins, the interim manager for Wolves tonight, will be very pleased that he's got to this stage, because after 5 minutes it looked like it would have done very well to get to 15 minutes without conceding, but they have. and they're just growing in stature a little bit more confidence in their passing and their movement. So, the signs are much better for Wolves as we stand at 15 minutes.
I thought you were going to say after 5 minutes it looks as though Wolves have done well to get to 0, but they have defended it very resolutely. There are a side with the worst defensive record in the division. They've let in 22 in their 10 games so far, clearly just over 2 goals a game. They have conceded 22, although the stats would suggest, and again going to XG, and I know it's not a metric that a lot of people like,
particularly managers,
but those stats would suggest they should have conceded 13. So the point I'm making is that maybe the defence isn't quite as bad as the raw numbers in the table would suggest, and that these things might even themselves out over the fullness of time.
I mean, for the public at home, as a media, you get a stat pack here. It helps you with the stats of what the teams are about. I mean, the stat pack on Wolves is grim reading. It's almost every stat they're almost bottom of the league. So there isn't much really on paper to suggest they're going to get out of this. All they can show is what they're showing tonight is fight, grit, good shape, and see if they can get something. And they're on the attack again.
Yep, there's been some heart in this performance so far. João Gomez goes out to the left-hand side to receive a pass. Chelsea are going to be able to win it back though with João Pedro, who's got Neto to his right. He's got Delap, watched by 2 centre-halves, steaming through the middle. Enzo Fernandez coming forward in support as well. Neto still in possession, just outside the right-hand side of the penalty area. Tony Gomez trying to stop the cross. It's played in instead by Gusto and headed away. Out as far as Alejandro Garnacho on the Chelsea left. Back for Enzo Fernandez. Cucurella on the left-hand side of the box. And towards Fernandez again, whose low ball driven in was easily knocked away by Andre. Caicedo tries to play a little reverse, not nearly as good as Enzo's a few minutes ago, around the side of the defender, and that one was cut out. And Strand Larsen couldn't work it back for Krejci. And now Santi Bueno's got it on the right of the 3 centre-halves. 4 from him. Space for Hwang, who gets the instruction to turn and obliges. Chachua making a run ahead of him. Hwang has sort of meandered out towards the right-hand touchline, which has allowed Chelsea the opportunity to get their shape back behind the ball. Hwang's played it forward towards Bellegarde and back again, and in fact all 11 Chelsea players are now behind the ball as Wolves go back to halfway.
Yeah, Hwang kind of made a decision there to kind of keep possession, which wasn't a bad idea actually, because you grow a bit of confidence. They're on the attack still.
Chachua
still messing around Chelsea. Yeah, Chalobah. They've conceded goals like that, haven't they, Jim, recently?
Absolutely. Chalobah fell over the ball on the edge of his own penalty area there, but was able to get it away. The individual errors have been costly for Chelsea from a defensive perspective. Chachua knocking the ball in here. It's volleyed away on the edge of his own box by Caicedo. Headed down by Chachua once more. And Cucurella's first to that. Now Enzo Fernandez can calm things down. Chelsea a little bit frustrated as the Wolves press just threatens to cause the odd problem. Strand Larsen leading it, but no harm done from a Chelsea perspective at the moment.
Yeah, I always say to my teams, what you want to do is try and get to a stage in the game, particularly away from home, where you get the crowd involved with, frustration in the crowd. And they're just starting to creep of that a little bit. Wolves have managed to do that now. You can just feel there's a few grumblings, a bit of like, come on, let's get on with it, which is the pressure that happens when you are the sort of favourites, 7-1, that Chelsea are tonight.
Yeah, that certainly does apply the pressure, as does the fact that they've lost 2 of the last 3 here in the league.
Yeah.
Having led in them both and then conceded a stoppage time winner in each of those games against Brighton and Sunderland. Chelsea will bring the ball forward now. A crossfield pass from Chalobah is a peach of a pass. Bounces nicely onto the chest of Neto, who can take it down. Run at Hugo Bueno and João Gomez. He got past the first Wolves player, but not the second. He's got the ball back at his feet and has another go. Can dig it in, left-footed here. It's attacked to the far post by Garnacho. Chachua heads it away. Then Bellegarde will take a touch and try and take on Cucurella, who's got great strength and has won it back. And as the pair of them fall to the floor, clearly Bellegarde had his arm around Cucurella and hauled him to the ground. Free kick to Chelsea, taken quickly. Caicedo working it to his right for Malo Gusto, and now out to the right-hand touchline for Pedro Neto. Caicedo again, had a yard of space to get across him. Gusto making the run forward into this midfield position, played it in towards Cucurella, and it got a bit of a hospital pass, 50-50 between Cucurella and one of the Wolves players who stayed down injured. Play goes on. Garnacho's got it. Garnacho inside the penalty area. Johnston with an unconvincing hand to fist it away. Fernandez sounds a bouncer back in, and Johnston knocks that one away and out of play for a corner.
Yeah, it was a kind of a short pass in the central area of the pitch there. Cucurella had a little sort of nick at a Wolves player who's gone down, who's staying down, by the way. And the Wolves players were sure it was a foul. Chelsea played on. Dulitz Garnacho, good little bit of wing play again. He looks lively, Garnacho. Good cross. And Johnson's had to palm that away. It's come out to the edge. Fernandez has had a great shot, and he's had to make another save. So, kind of, one of those little spells which is good for the home team, where they're just kind of ratcheting it up a little bit.
Well, Bellegarde was the Wolves player that went down. He's now back on his feet to the ironic cheers of the Chelsea supporters in front of us. And he's in a position to defend this second Chelsea corner of the day. Midway through the first half on Talksport, 0-0. All Chelsea. In comes this corner, and Johnston just got it away in the nick of time before it went over the line. It's a right-footed in-swinger from Enzo. Put into a dangerous area, and it became very dangerous very quickly. Garnacho then sends the next one in, brought down on the dead ball line and pulled back. Wow. And it somehow sneaks just wide into the side netting from Fofana, and the deflection spins it wide for another corner.
Well, Johnson, I thought a couple of times last week at Fulham he looked at unease at set plays, and he has again tonight. That corner he should deal with, he doesn't. It almost goes in. And then they have another attack, another cross comes in at the far post, and it just almost squeezed in at his near post. Rather fortunate, I thought. So
here's corner number 3, another in-swinging delivery. Johnston came out, got something on it despite the traffic ahead of him. Wolves can push out as they get the ball 20 yards clear from the own penalty area. But Gusto maintains possession for Chelsea. Exchange of pass between him and Enzo Fernandez, and then he works it back for Sanchez, and that is the cue for the discontent from the Chelsea supporters. A possession at the moment, 72-28 in Chelsea's favour. The eye test, actually, I think would tell you it was possibly even more marked than that. Now, they got it again with Caicedo. And Garnacho didn't make the run for the ball. Teased around the corner by Joao Pedro, and it goes out of play for a goal kick.
Yeah, I mean, this is a typical kind of game where the home team, expectation, frustration, just creeping in a little bit. And it's sort of 24 minutes. Wolves done okay. As we said, 28% possession is not unusual for teams away from home. It's a little bit down, as you'd imagine, but they've done okay. I mean, a little bit of a threat. They've had, what have they had? 2-3 attacks, Jim? Where they've been okay. So they're in the game, and I think at the start of this, we didn't think that was going to be the case. Certainly after 3-4 minutes.
They've shown a resolution that hasn't always been there this season, and a resilience to go with it.
Yep.
0-0 the score. They've needed the goalkeeper to bail him out a couple of times. That's why he's there. As Cucurella will bring the ball forward again for Chelsea with 24 minutes play. 0-0. It's flown by. Plenty of goalmouth action. Nearly all of it away to our left-hand side in front of the shed end that houses the travelling supporters from the Black Country who've made their views known about the ownership of the club. It's still goalless. Wolves 14 without a Premier League win. Their last one on April the 26th away at Leicester. As Liam Delap makes his way forward down the left-hand side of the box, and he was judged to have got the last touch under pressure from Krejci. And it goes out of play for a goal kick that'll be taken by Sam Johnston and Wolves.
Another fantastic pass for Fernandez. He's hit that again, first time down the channel, and Delap maybe should do better, really. But it did look like it was a corner, but his goal kick's been given. I think, from what I've seen of this Chelsea team, They need to get someone around Fernandez. He's like everything that's been good tonight has come through him.
Johnston sending the yellow high-vis ball high into Chelsea territory. It's headed straight back by Fofana. It bounces and then Sandy Bueno will turn it back to his goalkeeper again. Johnston bringing it forward. He didn't start the season as first choice, but has displaced Jose Sarr in that role. A 6th successive Premier League game in which he's started for Wolves. Ball played forward. Oh, Krejci turning and then losing the ball and smuggling it somehow back into his possession to get it back for his goalkeeper. But very fortunate, and once he played that safe pass to get himself out of trouble, he smacked the palm of his right hand into his left, furious with himself that he'd very nearly been caught, but he got away with it.
Well, he was lucky that Gomez, with the experience that he's got, was just standing behind him and looked up. Oh,
now ball over the top, and just too long for Joao Pedro.
Yeah, Gomez was just bailed him out. He'd put the cover on him, and luckily he did. It just fell to Gomez and he cleared it up. But you don't want your centre halves dilly-dallying. He's at it again here.
He's been able to work it back for Toddy Gomez. Now he gets it again, and every time the ball is played towards Krejci, that is now the trigger for Chelsea to press.
Correct,
they've seen enough.
Yeah. But I mean, as I said, the Wolves have done really well in this sort of second period of this half, and they've settled down nicely. So now Chelsea really going to have to kind of up a gear, because they're just sort of getting a bit frustrated. It's not moving as fast as it did in that first period. And it is about speed of transition from Chelsea, not from front to back, but from side to side.
Johnston with another free kick, which he takes in the left back position and slams forward. Fofana heads it away from Strand Larsen, out of play for a Wolves throw. Over on the far touchline, the Wolves left. Back he goes for Toddy Gomez, and the captain finds Sandy Bueno. And he will just threaten to show too much of it to Garnacho and work it cleverly past his path out to the right-hand side. Bellegarde now chasing. Enzo Fernandez is there to mop up for Chelsea. Goes back for Robert Sanchez. Sanchez gets it out towards Fofana, and Gusto can bring it forward again for Chelsea. Joao Pedro making a run. Delap had dropped off that time. Joao Pedro made the run past him, but the pass over the top wasn't forthcoming. Chelsea take a more conservative route towards goal and then work it all the way back inside their own half again for Fofana. And he will just be urged forward by Chalobah, which he makes that progress towards the halfway line in second gear and then drops it down to first and plays the ball back behind square again.
That's where you want your centre half to step in and make a decision, a positive decision. And he didn't. He went square, and that's nothing more frustrating for the fan base, but also for the team, actually.
Joao Pedro's been caught. He's on the deck. It's going to be okay. Andrew Kitchen, the referee, allows play to go on, and Chelsea have still got it with Neto coming that little bit deeper. Sends an aerial pass out towards Garnacho, who controls it. Now will run at his man. It's a decent block by Chachua. Garnacho has a second opportunity. Enzo Fernandez, Cucurella. Garnacho near the bottom left-hand corner of the penalty area. Takes a touch, works it back for Chalobah. Caicedo will take over. Chalobah gets it again, but he's the deepest of Chelsea's outfield players. Now Joao Pedro playing the way that he's facing, goes back inside the centre circle. Still 0-0 here on Talksport. A game which Arsenal's long defensive streak came to an end with a concession of 2 goals at Sunderland in a thrilling 2-2 draw there. Caicedo finding Joao Pedro, who worked it through the penalty area, but Wolves can get it back to their goalkeeper Sam Johnston. And there'd have been long odds 4 or 5 minutes into this game to reach the half-hour mark with the clean sheet still intact, but they've looked more comfortable as the night has gone on. Then they will be able to bring it forward here with Hugo Bueno. Playing it back for Toddy Gomez.
Chelsea, if they just kind of come down one side and try and work it, there's just not enough room. Wolves have got so many bodies. They've got to have that quick transition back out and then across the pitch. And then Neto and Garnacho can get at the fullbacks.
Now Chachua's beaten Cucurella. Strand Larsen tries to play it back into him. His cross is blocked, but Wolves have their first corner of the night on the right flank at 0-0.
Very welcome corner for Wolves. I mean, Larsson's, he almost got the big move in the summer to Newcastle. And I expected him to, use that as a real confidence thing. I watched him last week. I thought he looked a bit flat. He certainly looked a bit flat tonight, Jim, hasn't he? He's had 2 or 3 opportunities. So I'll expect a little bit more from him.
Yeah, 14 Premier League goals last season. He got 13 the previous year in La Liga, but just 1 in the Premier League so far this season, which was a penalty against Burnley. Corner here. Swung in. Sanchez comes out, claims it, and did well, actually.
Yeah,
he had to climb over Fofana to get there. He's bowled it out for Enzo Fernandez and did him few favours. Enzo did really well to make something of that. Pokes it forward. Chelsea try to get the bodies forward quickly. Delapa made his run a little bit early. Well, the cross didn't come in early enough. Hwang is back defending. Almost fell for Gusto on the edge of the penalty area. Wolves survive, get their shape back. But Chelsea still have possession. Neto to Malo Gusto. Trying to turn it forward past Andre in the heart of the midfield. He couldn't do that. Enzo Fernandez works it to his left-hand side for Garnacho, who steadies himself, puts it in, and Joao Pedro attacked it, but enough back in goal to be able to get it away.
Yeah, it was a great cross. And, with Pedro and Delap in there, you'd like to think if the crosses are of the quality, one of them are going to get on the end of it at some point. Garnacho and Neto have done okay, actually. It's just Chelsea need to work it to them quicker.
Garnacho trying to do exactly that. Brings it forward, shuffling down the left. Finds Cucurella. Joao Pedro to Enzo Fernandez. It's so congested. It almost looks like a schoolboy game at times with 5 or 6 players within 3-4 yards of the ball. Garnacho getting it in. Hwang back defending again. Joao Pedro nicks it away from him. Back outside the penalty area, though. Still Chelsea looking for the breakthrough, which they've very nearly found twice in the opening 4 minutes. Sam Johnston denying them on both occasions. A fine save, particularly from Enzo. Neto with the ball in here that's blocked. Comes out for Gusto. Gusto back for Fofana. Now out towards Neto again. Very quickly shown inside by Hugo Bueno.
Oh.
Fashions a ball round the referee, which Cucurella can just keep in on the left-hand touchline. And a scamper after it to make sure he did. Enzo Fernandez into the feet of Joao Pedro and back again. And now Enzo once more. It's still 0-0. 12 minutes to go to half-time here on Talksport.
See, that pass has to be quicker from the 2 centre-backs. Once it comes back out to them, they've got to move it much quicker. And that way, Wolves can't get across. So this is an example now. He should be giving that straight to Neto's feet.
Fernandez. Garnacho. Coming in off the left-hand touchline. Can't find a way past Chacha. Out of play for a Chelsea throw. 9 shots without reply in Chelsea's favour so far. It is still 0-0 though for the latest odds. Head to Betfair, the official betting partner of Talksport's Premier League coverage. Right now you can get Chelsea at 4-11. Wolves 9-1. The draw is 16-5. And that's all thanks to Betfair, playing a different league this season with Safe Sub from Betfair. 18+. Gambleaware.org. I mentioned the Wolves haven't had a single shot. Last time they didn't have a shot in the first half of the Premier League game was the back end of the season before last against Manchester City.
Wow, good stat, Jim.
Oh, someone's just put it in front of me. I can't claim to have known that one. Down it comes for Garnacho, a yard in from the left-hand touchline for Chelsea. Good. Back from Enzo. Caicedo, and to Gusto. Neto coming away from the edge of the penalty area. Sells his full-back short. It was well read by Gomez, and now he can work it forward. And this is the kind of opening the Wolves are playing for. Quick turnover of possession, getting the bodies forward quickly, but it was a poor ball in from Bellegarde, too far ahead of Strand Larsen, who was the only man he had to hit, really. And he drifts past everybody out of play for a Chelsea throw. Yeah,
I mean, they haven't had a shot at target, but they certainly had 3 or 4 scary moments. I mean, that's what you need when you're an away side. Just put the home team on the back foot, make them nervous a little bit. They have done that, but just 1 or 2 times they could have done so much better. And that was a point in case there. Decent kind of a break, but come to nothing. And Chelsea come again.
Alan, you talked about Strand Larsen. What about the other number 9, Liam Delap, who's had a slow start to his Chelsea career because of injury, and then he's had that red card as well. Leading the line tonight, but not a sniff of goal so far. What have you made of him as a striker? Not necessarily since he moved here, but
I think he's a choice of striker that's very much competitive. I think he likes the physical side of the game. He's overstepped the mark, hence the yellow cards and red cards, and I think he needs to come away from that. And in the traditions of Peter Osgood, needs to get a bit more technical and work on his game a little bit. It's interesting to see him and Pedro work, because Pedro's sometimes running beyond him, and that combination I think Maresca sees possibly as one of his better ones. We'll see.
Garnacho in possession around the edge of the penalty area. The ball has spent a lot of time around the edge of the Wolves box.
Yeah, the Chelsea centre-backs have just got to move it quicker. There's another situation here. If they can move it quicker, Chelsea are going to have more opportunities.
Those two centre-halves have seen plenty of it. And it goes to Gusto. Gusto put under pressure by the retreating João Gomez, wins a free kick. He's actually been hurt. Chelsea took the free kick really quickly because they want to inject that little bit of tempo, and maybe they shouldn't have done, because he's down hurt, and I think now Chalobah's getting the instruction to put the ball out of play so that Gusto can receive whatever treatment's necessary.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what that incident was, because it looked like maybe the Wolves player caught him in the face, but I'm not sure if he's holding his leg. He doesn't look too happy, does he?
It's a little break in play, a chance to assess the Wolves' situations. They've got 2 points from 10 games. Now, no side has ever survived in the Premier League with 2 points or fewer from the first 10. The last team to stay up with this kind of comparable record, back in the 80s, Leicester City did it. Alan Smith was scoring the goals in that team, along with Gary Lineker, who is here tonight, and mentioned it as well. Yeah. The 83-84 season. Stoke, back in the early 50s, the only other side that have done it. But last year they had 3 points from 10 games, and they stayed up comfortably, and they ended up 17 clear of the bottom 3. So, although history will suggest they've got no chance, the reality probably is that there's still plenty of time for them to be able to turn this around.
I always think that you need to get to Boxing Day with sort of 12 points. If you can get around 12 points, you've still got a massive chance, because you've got the window. You can make some massive improvements. Obviously, they're going to have a managerial change that will give them a lift. I think tonight they've had a bit more experience on the pitch, a bit more quality, and I think that's made a difference to them. So this is a much better performance. And as you say, still plenty of time for some of these players to come good. And when you're in the relegation zone, you need 1 or 2 players to really pull you out of it. And one of the players tonight, I think Gomez in particular, he's been great tonight. And that's what they need. They need 3 or 4, and then that gives confidence to others, and then suddenly you've got 7 or 8 and you win games.
You saw them last week in that game against Fulham. He left out Pereira, Andre and João Gomez from the midfield. They look a better side for having those 2 back in there today. Yeah,
whether the manager had kind of got to a point where, and sometimes it happens with senior players, where you're just not singing off the same hymn sheet, and he doesn't think they're with him, and he kind of left them out. And this week they're back in under the caretaker manager, but they're better players. I mean, sometimes as a manager you've got to swallow your pride and kind of court them and make sure these senior players are on your side, because you can't get out of this situation without your best players. And as you say, he left 3 of them on the bench last week, which I think a lot of Wolves fans, particularly the crowd that was at Fulham, had a real issue with. And so back tonight, and they look better for it, and we're off and going.
Well, Gusto is back on his feet over on the far side. He's had his treatment, just waiting the mandatory 30 seconds before being allowed back onto the field. It's still 0-0, and Chelsea will bring it forward. 5 to go to half-time. Chachua coming back, sliding in. Couldn't get it away from Garnacho. Now it comes back outside the penalty area for João Pedro, who just dallied a moment, and that saw it cleared from him by Andre. But Cucurella wins it back. Another ball in from Garnacho. Toddy sliced it away, and he goes out for another Chelsea corner. You're listening to Chelsea Wolves on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they're here for it. Corner work short. Garnacho's ball in. Strand Larsen heads it away. Chalobah will hope that's going to go out of play for another corner on the far side. He tried to shepherd it over the line. Looks as though he's given a shove by Totti Gomez. Referee said he wasn't. And then Totti was given a shove by Chalobah on his way back past him. Yeah. And the free kick's gone to Wolves.
You know, he had a lot of questions this week, the Chelsea manager, about the discipline of the side. And there's a case in point there. I mean, he's lucky not to get a yellow card there for nothing, really. He didn't need to do that. I did think he was fouled, the centre-back. And then he come back and retaliated a little bit. He's lucky. There's no bookings in this half. And the manager will be relieved, I should think, with that.
Yeah, they've had 6 red cards, including one for Maresca himself.
Yeah.
In the last 11 games. When your manager gets sent off, I suppose it makes it a little bit more difficult for him to try and administer discipline.
I can't imagine why managers get sent off.
No.
Ridiculous.
No, never. The ball out to the Chelsea left for Delap. And now it'll be worked forward again by Wolves through the midfield. Bellegarde running into trouble. But back on his feet to remedy the situation. Lays it down the right-hand touchline for Hwang. Another player that we've not seen much of for Wolves. He's had to come back in a defensive capacity more frequently than he's been able to show his attacking intent. The Wolves working cleverly down the left-hand side now for Strand Larsen, who tried to turn back onto his right foot. Chalobah stopped that happening. He's got support. Looked for Hwang. A more difficult pass than perhaps was strictly necessary. Chelsea get it away. Santi Bueno wins it back from Garnacho, who got caught, and Wolves will come again. Near the edge of the penalty area, a couple of quick step-overs trying to beat Gusto. The cross that comes in is from Hugo Bueno, is very easily fielded by Fofana, who lays it back for Sanchez, and he will clear towards halfway. Another very engaging Saturday night's Premier League action. Brought to you live and exclusive here on Talksport. Next Saturday night, we've got the huge rematch between Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. No live football for you next Saturday night, but some real blue-chip boxing. Ball play forward here by Chelsea down the right flank. It's chased by Neto. Wolves get it back for Johnston, who had the time to work it across the edge of his 6-yard box before getting it away on his favoured right foot. Cucurella can win it back though, plays it forward for Garnacho, 2 to the break at 0-0. Garnacho, Enzo Fernandez, Joao Pedro's dragged it wide.
Probably the best chance of the game, actually. The wing-back was caught up the pitch, the right wing-back. Garnacho got free. He's against the centre-back. He's taken him on in the box, plays it inside to Fernandez, who sets Pedro. Well, it's kind of a half shot, comes back out to Pedro, and he should do so much better. He's got the whole game's goal to aim at, and he kind of over-scuffs it and pushes it past, and it's a big chance gone for Chelsea there.
He had that great start to his Chelsea career. A couple of goals against Fluminense in the semi-final of the Club World Cup on his full debut, then scored again in the final. Got the winner at Spurs last week. That's his only goal, though, in his last 10 appearances for Chelsea, leading the line. I think he feels more comfortable in this slightly more withdrawn role behind a number 9, as he's playing today off Liam Delap. But
yeah, I mean, you know, when you look at that front four, you would expect a whole lot more from them. I think they've been okay. You know, at this level, you need a special moment, and that moment arrived for him there. He had a great opportunity to score. Garnacho's had a great opportunity to score. Neto as yet, no. Delap hasn't had a chance. So, you know, that front four should really be threatening more than they are. But Wolves are doing, as we said, a decent job.
20 seconds left in the first half. We're expecting 4 minutes to be added. And Chelsea will get the ball forward now towards halfway, but Delap can't get it to stick. Wolves work it to the left-hand side for Hugo Bueno. Back it goes for Totti Gomez to Krejci, the Czech international on loan from Girona in Spain. Johnston driving it forward over halfway with confirmation of the 4 additional minutes. Ball goes out of play for a Wolves throw taken quickly by Hugo Bueno, and getting it back from Strand Larsen Now the giant Norwegian can turn, and it's caught. And Caicedo's given a free kick away to Wolves, and this will give them the chance to load the penalty area here for a set piece.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we've had that Premier League season this year where set plays have come to the fore, and every set play now is a situation where you kind of worked on it. You're looking for a moment, and particularly when you're down in the bottom of the league, set plays become even more important, that you don't concede and that you offer a threat. And 4 minutes over, I would take about 2.5 minutes to take this free kick if it was me, and hopefully get the big fella on the end of it.
Chelsea have struggled to defend set pieces at times this season. They might struggle to defend this one as well. It looked routine for Gusto, as it was just played straight down the left-hand side of the penalty area. He has got the ball at his feet, but he's down by his own corner flag under real pressure from Hwang. He's been able to flick it sideways out of harm's way, and Cucurella will boom it upfield and goes out for a throw. Chua watches in over the line for a Wolves throw inside their own half. 90 seconds of the 4 additional minutes have already gone. Still 0-0. Chelsea have won the last 3 meetings of these two, scoring 13 goals in the process. Remember, they met only 10 days ago.
Yeah. And
Chelsea won by the odd goal in 7, but we're still waiting for the first goal of tonight.
And could have lost that game. Sanchez messing around there. But, if I was James Collins, I just want to get him in now. You just want to get in at half-time, because it's a real confidence bonus for them if they can get in at 0-0, especially after that first sort of 5 to 7 minutes when they really looked like they were struggling.
It's going to be interesting to hear the reaction of the Chelsea supporters in a couple of minutes at half-time if it is still 0-0.
Guess what you're going to get. They won't get booed off, but they'll get oohed off.
Is that a technical term?
Yeah, it's like a...
I think you're absolutely right. Enzo Fernandez playing the ball back towards Fofana. Now Neto to Cucurella on the edge of the centre circle. Left-footed clip forward over everybody.
Now, I want to explain something which I think is difficult for the Chelsea manager, right? So he's had this half where they've done okay. They perhaps should have scored in that first period. And now there's frustration. Now the pressure he's under with all the players that he has, the amount of money they've invested, he's under pressure to make changes, I think, at half-time. Even this situation where they've done okay. So it does give you a kind of an indication what it is like for him. I do sometimes feel for him, Maresca, in terms of the options that he has. Does he stick or does he twist?
And what would you do?
Well, I'd definitely be rattling them 2 centre-halves to move the ball a bit quicker, so I could give some of these offensive players a little bit more time to get at their opponents. That would be my main tactical point.
Cucurella's ball in towards João Pedro, who was fouled. And the half is going to end with a Chelsea set piece. Enzo Fernandez threatening to take it quickly. Hwang jumped straight in front of the ball to stop that happening. I think Chelsea would be better advised to set this up. It's right at the end of the first half. And Enzo and Pedro Neto are the 2 men that are just in a conflab about exactly how things should work from here. So Chelsea get 4 forward, 2 in the Wolves wall. Everybody else in a gold shirt back inside the 18-yard box. Chelsea's last opportunity to take a first half lead. Gusto clipping it in over Cucurella, and Wolves get it away. And there is the reaction from the home support after a goalless first half against a team that have only picked up 2 points from 10 games so far, who are conceding on average more than a goal for every half of Premier League football they've played. Chelsea started really brightly. Wolves indebted to Sam Johnston that the clean sheet was still intact through the opening 5 minutes, but they warmed to their task as it went on, and Chelsea started running down blind alleys and beating their head against a gold-coloured brick wall. Half times, Chelsea 0, Wolves 0.
Yeah, probably the player of the first 45 minutes, Pards, I would say, Sam Johnston. He was excellent because it felt as if the floodgates, if they opened, would certainly flood that Wolves defence. I was getting mixed up with my analogy there. That was the problem. But I tell you what, if I was a Chelsea fan, I wouldn't be laughing. And I go back to the point that I made right at the beginning when we were going through the team news. If you remember on the game day phone-in earlier on, Jason Cundy mentioned that he thought Chelsea were going to struggle against 5 at the back, and they certainly have. They've just not been able to break down that stubborn Wolves defence.
Well, Garnacho and Neto both started the game on fire, really. They've had the beating of their fullback, or wing-back, and got a couple of early crosses in. And then Chelsea, unfortunately, got into a kind of a rut of kind of working one side by overloading it. And then overloading it, they just made it easy for Wolves.
Yep.
So it was just difficult to get through. When it come back out to the 2 centre-backs, they're just so slow to transition it to the other side that Wolves got across and crowded it out again. If they can get it out to Garnacho and Neto, I think it look okay tonight. It's not like they look not on it, or they look flat-footed, or they don't seem focused. They look like they want to do something. They want to go at their fullback. So transition it quicker, get it to them, take them on, and let's get some more bodies in the box. You know, for Wolves, I think they've done terrific, particularly on that opening spell where it did look like the Wolves that I see at Fulham, and that they were going to get beat. And as you say, Johnson kept them in the game. But in that second period of that first half, so much better. A little bit of a threat on the break. You know, a couple of kind of moments where you kind of had the opposition where you wanted them, but unfortunately not the quality to exploit it.
No, they don't have the quality to exploit it, but Chelsea do have the quality to exploit, and they need to find ways around. Liam Delap has barely touched the ball, and actually it was pointed out to me earlier on that very, very similar in their last home game against Sunderland when, you know, with Mark Guiu, basically just couldn't get him into the game at all. Barely touched it. They're doing such a brilliant man-marking job on him, but the way to solve it is by Enzo Maresca trying to get them to spread the game out a little bit. And I feel, even though there's a bit, I haven't seen Garnacho hugging this touchline on the near side at all. That's where to get the width. And then when they did pull players out, you then had the opportunity from João Pedro on the 18-yard box, and then he dragged it wide.
Yeah, I think that the problem they've got a little bit with Pedro and Delap is that there doesn't seem to be any kind of relationship with the pair. They've not kind of interacted with each other at all. And you really need that. You need your number 10 and your number 9 to kind of be on the same wavelength. And at times they haven't been. They haven't fed each other. And a couple of times Delap comes short. If he comes short a little bit more, maybe it would encourage Pedro to go in behind more. But, that kind of movement isn't happening. So in the end, Delap's just staying at the top of the pitch. He's waiting for an opportunity to come his way. There's been some decent crosses, I think. Garnacho, particularly this side, with his right foot, curling him to the far post. But unfortunately, Delap's not been on that. So it is now, as I said, that kind of conundrum that this Chelsea manager faces and the pressure that he's under, which we can only guess at from above, and the 5 sporting directors that he has about, someone else needs to change, you need to change it, what are you going to do, and so it'll be interesting to see if that Chelsea team comes out intact. Yeah,
not just the 5 sporting directors, all of the fans in here who booed the team as they went down at half-time. Chelsea 0, Wolves 0 at half-time. Second half action is coming next. We'll also hear from both Mikel Arteta and Regis Lebris after Arsenal were held to a 2-2 draw at Sunderland in the 5:30 kickoff. This is Talksport.
Talksport Superstar Breakfast.
Monday to Friday morning from 6.
25 years of mucking around in the morning.
Absolutely priceless.
Sitting talking about football with my mates.
25 inglorious years.
Genius! On you go! Talksport Superstar Breakfast.
Monday to Friday morning from 6.
Right, I'm ready for a drink.
Game day exclusive on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk.
Imagine a place where you can escape for a day. Get immersed in a world of rooms, inspiration and expertise. Where you can laze in luxury accommodation. And kids can feast from 95 pence. Tickets are free to everyone and include all the attractions. You've just imagined a day out at IKEA. IKEA, the wonderful everyday.
Hi, just leaving work now. Sorry it's a bit loud. Basically, so I was thinking we could get Mackies tonight. Had a Big Mac on my mind all day, and delivery fee on the app is now from 99p. So, you in? Of course you are. Ha, love you. Bye.
Exclusively on the McDonald's app. 18 plus. Service fee and small order fee may apply. Participating restaurants. Serving times and T's and C's apply.
He's having a blinder. He's clipped the post. He's looking formidable. Then... substitution. His game might be over, but yours isn't. With Betfair's Safe Sub, your bet simply rolls onto the player coming on. Playing a different league with Betfair.
Valid on selected leagues and markets only. Applies to singles, multiples and bet builder bets on qualified player outcome selections. Does not apply to odds boost. T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
We all fantasize about our perfect home. Watching the big game, cozied up in the snug. Balmy summer nights with the kids playing on the lawn.
We're playing real-life football!
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of April 2024 and 30th of June 2024 was under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
The beautiful game doesn't stop at the final whistle. And neither does the sun.co.uk. So you can go beyond the last kick with expert insight into the big moments and in-depth analysis of tactics, plus the latest breaking news and exclusives. And you can get it whenever and wherever you want it. To keep up with every kick, just head to the sun.co.uk. It's unbeatable.
Incredible scenes here at the Village Hotel's Pub and Grill. Fans are taking their place in the fan zone with stadium-style seating, amazing views on huge screens, and we're underway. Lovely bit of dribbling there as she tackles the burger stack. Now they're getting down the wings. Sticky barbecue. Unbelievable. Oh, and he's hit the bar. And it's there. His favourite ice-cold beer. What a result.
Catch every game live in the Pub and Grill at Village.
Get in. Find out more at villagehotels.com.
It's another day at Screwfix, and Sir Mo Farah is still getting to grips with things.
So, Mo, with Sprint Delivery, we get the order to them in as little as 20 minutes. Okay? Mo?
Mo? Done. He was on the 18th floor.
Nice work. But, you know we use delivery riders, right?
Oh, now you tell me.
Sprint it in as little as 20 minutes. Screwfix. No stopping you. Conditions and geographical restrictions apply.
Game day exclusive on Talksport with Sky Sports. Stream a massive month of sport this November on Sky Sports with a Now Month membership. 18 plus. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
On 1089 and 1053 medium wave.
Online.
On your mobile.
On the app.
And on your smart speaker. Talksport.
Chelsea have it back almost instantly. Garnacho! Maybe went the wrong side of Johnston. Correa can win it back though. Plays it forward for Garnacho. 2 to the break at 0-0. Garnacho, Enzo Fernandez. Joao Pedro's dragged it wide.
Probably the best chance of the game, actually.
This is Game Day exclusive on Talksport. Faker Others with you, half-time between Chelsea and Wolves, and it is goalless. By the way, next Saturday evening, Talksport is bringing you the huge rematch between Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Heavyweight Dave Allen is joining our expert boxing team that's going to keep you right across a busy fight week. Don't worry as well, you can also watch along with us on the night. That's on the Talksport Boxing YouTube channel. Right, second half of our live Premier League game. Just about 6 or 7 minutes away, so let's get the latest odds from Betfair, the official betting partner of Talksport's Premier League coverage.
Odds update on Talksport with Betfair. Play in a different league this season with Safe Sub from Betfair. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
Sam Rosbottom's back with us. How are the odds looking at half-time, Sam?
Yeah, interesting first half, isn't it? I mean, you can understand why some Chelsea fans may be frustrated, but look, that's what Wolves have gone to Stamford Bridge to do, to set up and frustrate this attacking Chelsea side, and they're holding their own so far. That being said, though, Chelsea still really fancied to win this one. They're as short as 4-7 on the Betfair Sportsbook. Can the visitors get anything out of this? The draw now 9-4, and if you think that they can do a bit of a smash and grab here, Wolves, they're currently 8-1 to take all 3 points. As we've just heard from the first half recap, it was Joao Pedro and Alejandro Garnacho with the two most likely chances of opening the scoring in this first half. Pedro 23-10 to get on the score sheet in the second half. Garnacho 3-1. As you've mentioned, Chelsea not quite getting Liam Delap in the game. If he can get on the score sheet, that would be great for him, wouldn't it, coming back? He's currently 21-10 to score in the second half. And fingers crossed, we see a bit of action and we see this game spark into life.
I hope you're right, Sam. That odds update, all thanks to Betfair. For verification, see betfair.com. Over 18s only. Conditions apply. Go to gambleaware.org.
Odds update on Talksport with Betfair. Play in a different league this season with Safe Sum from Betfair. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
In the 5:30 Premier League game, there was a cracker at the Stadium of Light. Sunderland holding title-chasing Arsenal to a 2-2 draw with Brian Brobby scoring an equaliser in the 94th minute for the home side. Talksport's Graham Courtney spoke to both managers at full-time. So before we hear from Regis Labrie, let's hear from Mikel Arteta, who had nothing but praise for his opponents.
Scoring the second goal, and then you have to hang in the last few minutes. You know everything is going to be direct, long balls, long throw-ins, direct deep free kicks, and you have to deal with the people in the box. We haven't done it in the best way, and one of the reasons is because they've done it really, really well as well. When they win the first ball, the way the striker puts his leg in front of David. And then we have a massive chance to win it again with Ricky and Mikel Merino. And these are the details and the margins to win or draw in this league. So it gives me a lot of perspective what the team has done in the last few weeks, winning 10 in a row and not conceding goals and 7 attacking players out and fit. And time to reset and go again.
Yeah, we are competitive, but we know that our main target remains the same. We want to achieve 40 points, so it's one more step. I think we'll learn many things from this experience and we'll go forward.
Yeah, they certainly will. They're doing brilliantly at the moment. Sunderland third. Of course, Arsenal still top of the table. Chelsea, if they beat Wolves tonight, could go second above Manchester City before that huge game they have tomorrow against Liverpool. You heard from Regis Labrie and Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta there after that 2-2 draw earlier on. There were some great results earlier. Spurs 2, Manchester United 2 is how that finished. Richarlison had thought he'd given Spurs all 3 points after scoring a 91st minute goal, but Matthias de Ligt scored in the 96th minute to equalise. Everton were 2-0 winners over Fulham. Idrissa Gueye and Michael Keane with the goals there. West Ham beat Burnley by 3-2, but 1,000 West Ham fans protested before the start of the game, unhappy with the board. It was a cracking game though at the London Stadium. Some other Saturday results of note for you. We will dig into these after the full-time whistle here, but in the EFL, Middlesbrough beat Birmingham, who are without manager Rob Edwards. He is linked with the job here at Wolves. That was a 2-1 win at the Riverside. Norwich were beaten by Leicester, and that led to Norwich boss Liam Manning being sacked this evening. He's just won twice in 15 league games. They're currently 23rd in the Championship. Coventry have extended their lead at the top of the table. They beat Stoke by 1-0, and saving the best EFL result to last, friend of Talksport, Jack Wilshere, his Luton side beat top of the table Stockport 3-0 in League One. It was a cracker. The Hatters versus the Hatters. So many fascinating games that we will go through ahead of tomorrow's Sunday games. But the players are back out here at Stamford Bridge. The question is, have either manager made any changes? We saw some of the Chelsea substitutes warming up, but it looks like Esteval is not taking off his bib as it stands. But with all the latest on that, your commentary team of Alan Pardew and Jim Proudfoot here on TalkSport.
Thank you, Faye. The answer to your question is no, nobody's making any changes as yet, but you would imagine it's not going to be too long before Enzo Maresca shuffles his pack. They line up with Sanchez in goal, Gusto Fofana, Chalobah and Cucurella, Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez, Neto, Joao Pedro and Garnacho, and Delap. They get us back underway in blue shirts and shorts and white socks, kicking from left to right towards the Matthew Harding stand. Wolves Johnston in goal, Off on a back five of Chachua, Santi Bueno, Krejci, Totti and Hugo Bueno. Then Bellegarde, Andre and Joao Gomez and Hwang off Strand Larsen in a 5-3-1-1. Here's Pedro Neto. Got the long way around Hugo Bueno and beating him. Firing it in towards Delap at the near post. It's cleared, put straight out of play. Chelsea got a corner inside the opening 30 seconds of the second half. Alan Pardew.
Yeah, a little pat on the back for the manager, because I thought he's done the right thing there. Stuck with the team. Go out there, change it, move it quicker, and then if you're a wide player, take your fullback on a little bit more. And we just had that straight away from Neto, and he's earned the corner.
That's a corner that he himself will take, flicked in towards the near post, hoping for a flick on from Fofana, which wasn't forthcoming. Comes back out for the former Wolves man. Deeper ball in this time that's headed away by Bellegarde. Ball breaks outside the penalty area and is headed back to Cucurella. And Chelsea, that little bit deeper, have it again. Caicedo to Cucurella, now towards Gusto. Neto wanting the ball, demanding that it's played into his feet. He's got an opportunity to run at Hugo Bueno here. He plays it forward. Joao Pedro going to ground as he was put under pressure, and in doing so he's fallen on the ball, handled it. There's no foul on him by Santi Bueno. The referee's given a free kick to Wolves for the Joao Pedro handball.
When a striker, wide player, plays that ball into a striker, the worst thing you can do as a striker is be straight, your body straight. You need to kind of get your bum in a little bit. And he didn't do that, and therefore the Wolves player can just keep coming through him. He needs to be much better at that. If you're going to play that role, that's such an important part of it, to hold possession and to link the play. You need to keep your centre half away from you. Bit of a technical point there, Jim.
No, absolutely. That's why you're here, because you're not getting that from me. It's 0-0, 2 minutes into the second half. It's a throw that will be taken on the Wolves' left by Hugo Bueno. It's gone back for Totti Gomez. Deeper still. And Chachua plays it all the way back to his goalkeeper. Chachua, who was born in Belgium, plays for Cameroon. They paid Verona of Italy £11 million for his services. He got a couple of goals in Serie A last season and has been neat and tidy tonight. Hugo Bueno trying to find a way past Gusto on this near touchline, goes out of play for another throw to Wolves. They've had a little bit better territory at the beginning of this second half. Totti Gomez laying it back. Krejci now work forward. Joao Gomez trying to turn in the midfield. Neto has won it back, taking on Hugo Bueno and beating him, and then Andre knew the danger of letting him get too far. He's fouled him, and he's the first player to have his name taken tonight. Andre in the book.
Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind that Maresca has got into Neto and said, look, I want you to be more positive and get at people. He's done it again there, and so far he's won a corner and he's won a free kick just by being super positive. I mean, the one problem you have, particularly as an away team, when you get to 0-0 away against one of the big sides, is getting overconfident and therefore taking risks, having too many passes and create opportunities for the home team. So we'll just got to be careful of that.
Cucurella to Garnacho, back for Cucurella again. Now Chelsea will bring it forward, the right-footed ball that's clipped inside the box and knocked away. Enzo Fernandez can't get the passing radar right at the beginning of this second half, having had it very well calibrated in the first. Garnacho with the ball in here, Gusto going up for it. The defensive touch from the retreating Bueno got it away from Gusto and out for another corner.
Yeah, you know, when the wide player on the opposite side is getting crosses in, you want your fullback getting in there, particularly, you know, when you've got this kind of possession, 78% or whatever it is. And that's the first time I've seen Gusto get right in there, and he almost got on the end of it.
Neto from the corner that was taken short, gets it back from Gusto. Cucurella. Wolves again applying the pressure from the front. And Chelsea forced to go all the way back for Robert Sanchez, I beg your pardon, and he gets it away from Strand Larsen with the long ball played forward, chased after by Joao Pedro, but he's not going to be able to keep that in. Over on the left-hand touchline and drifts innocuously out of play for a Wolves throw in their right-back position. 5 minutes gone in the second half, and it's still 0-0 here on Talksport.
Yeah, I mean, Wolves done the perfect kind of start so far. Kept it a little bit, got a bit more territory, as I say, just be careful not to get too overconfident. They need to stay on it in their defending, particularly. The same kind of tempo, the same type of aggression.
They've only taken the 1 point away from home this season, which came at Spurs, and it came with their only goal away from home this season. Santi Bueno scored it. Here's Garnacho, left-hand side of the penalty area. Gusto arriving, heads it in. What an unlikely hero for Chelsea. The first goal of his career in 160 games. Perceptive ball in from the left flank, and Wolves' resistance is finally broken 7 minutes into the second half by Malo Gusto.
Well, I said, when that wide player on the other side, when you've got such possession like they got, you've got to get your full-back in as well. And Gusto takes a gamble, goes in with a wide player, finds himself completely free, and just a simple goal, really, a simple header. And as I said to you about exactly what I thought might happen to Wolves, getting a little bit overconfident, don't defend it like they did in the first half, not with the same tempo and aggression, and now they've conceded and now they've got it all to do.
Malo Gusto had a couple of shots in the first half that were blocked. 98th Chelsea appearance, the 160th appearance of his senior career. That is goal number 1, and it has come at a great time as far as Chelsea are concerned. It's a beautiful cross. And Gusto's bit was the easy bit. Just guided it back across the face of Johnston into the bottom left-hand corner, and Chelsea lead Wolves 1-0.
Yeah, I mean, that ball was put in between the wing-back and the centre-back, and if you've got a wide player and your full-back coming in on that, plus you've got the two strikers in the box, then someone's going to be free, and Gusto was free, and it was a simple goal for him, albeit he's first.
Big grin on his face. Very significant moment for him, quite clearly. And Chelsea are a goal up on 52 minutes. They have already dropped 8 points at home this season. And remember, the 2 home defeats they've had against Brighton and Sunderland both came after Chelsea went 1-0 up. But against the Wolves side, who've only scored once away from home in 5.5 Premier League games, you would imagine that will end up being a pretty significant moment. Gusto lays it back towards Fofana. How will Wolves come out? How will they try and chase the game from here? Gusto's got it again, back in his right back role. Threads it through the midfield towards Joao Pedro. Neto flipping it forward. Hugo Bueno wins it back. Maresca kicking every ball on this near touchline. Is appealing for a throw. He hasn't got it. It's gone Wolves' way. And Tony Gomez takes it back for Krejci, who will find his goalkeeper, Johnston. 1-0 to Chelsea.
Yeah, Wolves just trying to pick up the tempo, because obviously they're a goal down now. So, you've got to expect that they're going to have to push a little bit more. They mustn't come away from the way they've defended, though. They just switched off for the goal. First time, really, other than the first 5 minutes of the first half.
Caicedo getting it forward here. It's Delap from distance, and it's a little daisy cutter that rolls its way through towards Johnston. Chelsea claiming they should have had a free kick right on the edge of the penalty area for a foul on Joao Pedro, but nothing given. The referee played the advantage. Delap couldn't make the most of it, and now Wolves will try and bring it forward.
Yeah, starting to do back heels in your third. Your two central midfield players is not a good sign by Wolves. They've just got to settle down a little bit now. They're a little bit rattled. That goal has just knocked them back from a good position in the game. They now find themselves in a difficult position, and you've got to treat both instances with the same respect.
Gone behind in 8 games this season in League and Cup, Wolves, and have lost all 8. Here's Tony Gomez getting forward through the midfield for Joao Gomez. Hwang laying it back after a touch from Bellegarde. Andre has it. He'll lay it forward to his compatriot Andre Gomez, who drops the shoulder, gets away from Caicedo, who leant into him, and that forced the pass to be slightly awry, but it was still kept in over on the Wolves' right by Chachua. Johnston hits one right along the deck through the midfield, and Bellegarde can receive that. He gets it forward for Hugo Bueno. Hwang drops the shoulder and opens up some space. Flicked on by Strand Larsen. Hugo Bueno coming onto it, although the angle is tight and the defending was good. Chalobah got in the way and ended up blocking the shot. But that was much better from Wolves.
Definitely their best moment of the game, that. 7 or 8 pass sequence. And they created almost a chance for Bueno.
Hugo Bueno getting it forward again. It was a move that had that little bit more confidence, didn't it? And belied the situation that they find themselves both here at Stamford Bridge today and in the season at large. It was really neat and tidy from them. And they've now, in the next phase of play, won a free kick about 9-10 yards outside the penalty area, level with the left-hand edge of the box.
Yeah, a really important time now for Wolves, because this Chelsea team could run away from you, and they know that. So just that sequence of play would give them a little bit of confidence that they can get something out of this game. It's a good set play situation here. This is always a good angle from this kind of just outside the penalty area, about 10 yards outside the box.
Hugo Bueno stands with both arms above his head, flights the free kick in, deep towards the far post, heading back across the edge of the 6-yard box and cleared. Almost managed to get it into a promising position. Bueno there to attack it, just couldn't get there. Now they're bringing it forward again with Hwang, looking for Gomez. Gusto turning into trouble inside his own penalty area, and Fofana was really alert, came across, bailed him out, sweeping up behind him. Chelsea clear, Krejci mops that up and it goes back for Johnston, and it's Wolves' turn to build from the back, and they're having the majority of possession now, with it being them that is chasing the game.
Yeah, Gusto was lucky there, and that sort of thing that Chelsea have been doing in recent games, taking too much risk, in their own penalty box, thinking they can be clever, trying to pass out. He actually turned in his own box and nearly got caught. He was very, very fortunate. But Wolves definitely picked up the pace of the game. Good reaction from them to the goal. And let's hope that continues.
Krejci back for Bueno. Andre very cleverly let it run for Krejci, who's stepping forward a little bit more readily now from centre-half into midfield. He's happy playing there as well. Hwang out towards Hugo Bueno. Low ball through the 6-yard box, and Strand Larsen nearly got to it first. Had a lot of ground to cover, and he tried to get across the face of Chalobah at the near post. Nearly managed it. Chalobah got it away. Wolves have it again, still inside Chelsea territory. It's 1-0 to Chelsea. The Wolves having to change the game plans, forced to be more dynamic from the concession of the goal to Gusto, and they're doing the best. Chachua taking on Cucurella, but he's overrun it, and the cross has just drifted behind Sanchez's goal and out of play.
The midfield three of Andre, Hwang and Gomez have actually been quite brilliant in this last sort of 2-3 minute spell, and they created a couple of great chances. They put Bueno in twice. That time he gets behind the Chelsea defence, and Larsen just late on his run. If he's like a fraction earlier, he's got a tap in there. So good moments from Wolves. Well done to them.
So that comes to meet the ball. Looks as though he's given a little shove from Krejci, but he was still able to protect the ball and get it back for João Pedro. Enzo Fernandez takes over, and he will come forward towards the edge of the penalty area. The gold shirts converged on him from all sides, but he could flick it away to his right-hand side for Gusto. Now Neto taking on Hugo Bueno. Turns inside, lays it back for Malo Gusto towards the edge of the penalty area. Wolves can get it away, and I thought they'd given it straight back. They haven't, because of the quick feed of Andre. Cucurella deflects the pass that was intended for Strand Larsen out to the right for Chachua. He lays it back for halfway. There has been a decent response, though, from the Midlanders. And they've got it with Bellegarde. He's gone back inside his own half for Sandy Bueno to Krejci. Just a yard or so outside the centre circle. Right forward towards Caicedo. Wolves winning it back again with Andre Gomez. Gomez has done well, withstands the challenge of Caicedo, who's nibbling at his heels. The referee let play go on just to see how far Gomez could go, and when he lost possession, he's pulled it back, booked Caicedo, and given Wolves a free kick 20 outside the box.
Yeah, definitely the best spell that Wolves have had in the whole game has been since the goal. So that's a great reaction. That's exactly what you'd want to see if you was James Collins sitting down there as the manager of this Wolves team. Chelsea just looking a little bit nervous, and Caicedo, which he does from time to time, just lost his head a little bit there, and a needless booking. He didn't need to do that.
Estevao has been called back and is going to be coming on shortly. Bellegarde to take this free kick for Wolves. It just clips it in straight, and it's easily headed away by Caicedo. Comes back out for Bellegarde. Little 1-2 at distance with Hugo Bueno. Bellegarde coming forward again, and still, and it was close-ish. Sanchez didn't seem fazed by it at all, but then quite late on took a couple of hasty steps to his left just to make sure that was going to dip over the bar. It did, by about 1.5 feet, and it's out for a goal kick. And with an hour gone, it's still 1-0 to Chelsea here on Talksport.
Yeah, the game is nicely poised at the moment. Obviously, Chelsea have the lead, which is great for them, but Wolves are pushing, playing well, playing with a bit more confidence, nothing to lose kind of attitude to the game. And they've created 2 or 3 moments. And if they carry on like this, they'll create a couple more.
Andre. Back for Krejci. Stands with his left foot on top of the ball, surveying the options upfield, plays it forward into Hwang. Hwang with a nice little reverse ball for Strand Larsen, who can see that he's got Bellegarde in space out on the right. Bellegarde now with the first time ball inside the penalty area. It's easily headed away by Chalobah, and as Wolves are committing more bodies forward, creates space at the back when possession's turned over. Delap making his way forward, but Garnacho couldn't find him, and Wolves got enough bodies back quickly enough to be able to bring it away with Krejci. It's always the risk and reward balance for Wolves, chasing the game, and as they commit more bodies forward, clearly if they then lose possession, they are playing into Chelsea's hands.
Yeah, this is what I said right at the start of the game, where Chelsea manager needs to be brave here, because if he does this right and he gambles with his front three a little bit, they get a second goal here.
Delap for Pedro, to Garnacho, back for João Pedro, didn't hit it first time. Caicedo coming onto it, wriggles away from one challenge, finds Cucurella, back out for Garnacho again. Garnacho with a reverse ball, right across towards Liam Delap, and it is steered just wide by Krejci. Goes down as really good defending, because there was no margin for error. He had to play it, because Delap was coming in and would have tapped it in. And sliding, it was difficult for him to take too much control of where it went, but he steered it the right side of the post and out for a corner. Still 1-0.
There's a great little sequence of play from Chelsea. Pedro should shoot. He has a great chance on the edge of the box. He kind of reluctantly, comes away from that, but yet they manoeuvre it again, get down the left-hand side, and as you say, a great interception stops Delap scoring.
In comes this latest corner, which has too much bend on it, and Vara touch from Fofana hits the side netting. Chelsea will now make the change, and Estevao is going to come on, and Liam Delap is the player being replaced.
Yeah, I mean, not surprisingly, he hasn't played because of the suspension. What has he had on the clock now? I don't know what minute we're on.
That's 65.
Yeah, 65, so that makes sense. Playing for an hour. So Pedro will go through the middle, and Estevao comes on, this live wire that everybody's talking about, who has such a great chance to be a really big player in the game. Comes on the pitch on the right-hand side.
Only 18. They already scored 3 goals for Brazil. I mean, to play for Brazil by the time you're 18 is pretty tidy, but 3 goals for him already. 4 goals in his last 7 Chelsea games, including one against Wolves in that League Cup tie 10 days ago. And he's on the right-hand side. So João Pedro now playing through the midfield, and Neto at 10. And those two try and combine. They have. João Pedro taking it on. It goes back out of the left-hand side of the penalty area. Enzo Fernandez has it. Looking to pull it back. Not too many options for him, but he can find Neto to Cucurella. Caicedo urged to shoot. Better options for him, and he's picked out one of them here. And he's wearing 41. It's Estevao getting to the byline. Ball through the 6-yard box. Blasted into the net by Pedro. It's 2-0. And he's made an instant impression. Estevao's only been on the field for a minute, and he's played a defence-splitting pass. Joao Pedro with a goal that surely makes the game safe.
You know, when you've got a player who can just stand the defender straight up and say, right, I'm going to take you on, and he knows he's going to take him on and still beats him, you know you've got a special player. He's so quick, he's so close to the ground, he's got that kind of Maradona kind of way that he kind of manoeuvres the ball. But it was a simple goal. He just pulled it back, and Pedro, I think, scored the goal, finished it top corner. And Pedro did something in that game that I was hoping Delamp was going to do in the 65 minutes that it was on, where he just run down the side of the pitch, he linked the play, and Chelsea have a second.
Joao Pedro marking the 100th Premier League game of his career with his second goal in a week. Got the winner at Spurs last week and now scores the goal that seemingly makes this safe. Bit of insurance for Chelsea, who lead Wolves by 2-0 here on Talksport with 20 minutes gone in the second half. I think Wolves would look at the way that they have played prior to the first goal going in, the extra attacking intent that they've shown after the first goal went in, and they will certainly feel that they don't deserve to be too behind in this. But when you can bring a player of Estevao's quality off the bench,
I see an interview with James. You know, they have a lot of big special players here that, of course, they're rightly proud of, and all of them are young players. But James talked about this lad Estevao as something special, and they've got to protect him and they've got to nurture him, because you just know this is a special talent. And I think Chelsea fans have seen enough already to know that they've got a special player here. It's just how he develops now. Can he be one of the great Chelsea players? And that's all hopefully in front of him, to become a Hazard or a Drogba or a Lampard in his own way, in his own kind of sphere of what he can offer. He's certainly got the potential to do it.
Well, when you bear in mind footballing inflation, 48 million quid already looks a sensational bargain. He's got it again now. Got Gusto making a run ahead of him. Almost an inch perfect pass, but Toddy Gomez just came across the cover in the nick of time for Wolves, and he'll work it outside his own penalty area. But then played for by Hugo Bueno, won back by Estevao. Good defensive work. Just 1 minute and 7 seconds between him coming off the bench and providing that killer pass for the second goal. Enzo Fernandez now bringing it forward and clipping it well wide, actually, of Johnston's right-hand post. We're midway through the second half. You're with Talksport. It's Chelsea 2, Wolves 0. Chelsea going up to second tonight, the way that things are right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's great when you've got a great young player like this. I remember when I was at Southampton, not at this level, but we was in the first division at the time, and we had Lallana and Chamberlain, and the crowd just get a lift. You know, you can, by making a substitution, you can actually lift the place, and that's what Maresca has done by bringing him on, and he's answered it, as you say. We're 1 minute 30 seconds in, then he's done some great defensive work, he's done some nice link-up play already, and suddenly everybody's happy here, and we got a 2-0 lead.
Wolves are going to be making a double change in a moment. We're going to see Munetsi and Mane come on. There's a free kick goes Chelsea's way for a foul on Pedro Neto. No, you haven't missed something. It's not Sadio Mane all of a sudden has parachuted back into the Premier League. This is Mateus Mane. He's 18. He's made one previous Premier League appearance. That was as a late sub against Brighton back in May. He's got a couple of goals for the 21s in the EFL Trophy this season. They love him. They think he's really, really good. And James Collins, who knows him really well, is his under-21 coach. He's got this one match as caretaker manager. No surprise that he's shown faith in his number 36 and throws him on for 20 minutes here.
Yeah, this is, you know, when you're doing the under-21s, which I have done in my career at times, you want to see that progression for your players. And he has the great opportunity here for the manager to put him on, to sort of say to the hierarchy at the club, this kid definitely is good enough. I'm telling you he's good enough. And he stuck him out, and I hope he is.
Name-checked another couple of players that he thought were good enough as well for first-team football, one of whom's on the bench, Tawanda Chirewa. who has played for Wolves in the Premier League before, albeit back in the season before last. Enzo Gonzalez, the Paraguayan, another that's not involved today, but also James Collins was happy to mail his colours to his mass as a player that he believed was ready for first team football. In terms of that double change, incidentally, it's Mane and Muneti for Bellegarde and Hwang. So that's the double change that Wolves have made. It's 2-0 to Chelsea. Gusto on 51, Joao Pedro on 65. You're listening to Chelsea against Wolves on Talksport with Sky Sports. And don't forget, you can stream Sky Sports big weekend, including Chelsea versus Wolves, live right now. Available with no contract on Now. Search Now Sports. We've got 19 minutes to go. You're not missing anything. Chelsea got a player down injured here. Just receiving treatment. I'd like to think that is routine and not too much of a problem for Fofana. He's had more than his fair share of injury problems in his career. He's back on his feet, looks okay. And just, I think, a bang to the back, nothing worse than that. An impact injury's all right, it's coming off and he'll be back on very shortly. Don't forget, next Saturday night, it's boxing on the agenda. Talksport bringing the huge rematch between Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. No live football for you next Saturday because it's an international week. A couple of games for England. We've got them both for you, of course. Thursday, it's England at home to Serbia, and then we're in Albania for Sunday for the match in Tirana between Albania and England. And it'll be interesting to see how much experimentation Thomas Tuchel goes for, or whether he's just going to be picking what is fast becoming the tried and tested team. Those two England games coming your way on Talksport. Serbia at home, Albania away, Thursday and Sunday, live here on Talksport. Here and now, it's 2-0 to Chelsea at Stamford Bridge with 18 minutes to go. Ball fired towards the edge of the penalty area, looking for Strand Larsen. It's clear. Chelsea turning it over and getting it forward towards Garnacho, who's going to beat Sandy Bueno for pace. He's got a square ball for Neto, who rubs salt into the Wolves' wounds. Neto scoring against his old club. 3-0 to Chelsea. Wolves made them work hard for it for 50 minutes. But now that the deadlock is broken, they're coming thick and fast.
Yeah, I mean, the problem you have when you're down the bottom of the league is that there's definitely flaws in the team. One of the reasons you're there, and one of the big flaws in this Wolves team is that they lack pace, particularly at the back, and they were exposed there, so exposed by Garnacho and Neto's pace. They just run away from the back three, and Garnacho, a simple pass really. Once he'd got away from the centre back, he lays it across, and Neto is just the goalie to beat, smashes it home. So that's the problem that Edwards is going to face walking into this Wolves team. How are you going to play with this team? How are you going to set it up? Because it looks like when you step onto teams and you leave spaces at the back, you're going to get exposed. And if you lay deep, are you good enough on transition? And they've tried both tonight, actually. First half, that's what they were doing, Wolves. This half, they've tried to have a bit more territory, and unfortunately, they've been found out.
Pedro Neto's first goal here at the Bridge since February. He's scored 6 on the road in that time, including 3 in the Club World Cup. A special moment for him. 14 goals in Wolves colours. He's now got 12 in half the time for Chelsea. And it's Chelsea 3, Wolves 0 here on Talksport. Gusto, Joao Pedro and Neto, 3 goals in 22 minutes. Toby Gomez lays it back for Krejci. Krejci for Sandy Bueno, back from him to Johnston. Is it going to be easy to take positives from this? If you're a Wolves player and you've averaged more than 2 goals against you and you've shipped another 3 so far this evening with a long 15 minutes left to go, is it going to be easy for when the new manager comes in and he tells you that you're much better than the league table suggests? Is it going to be easy to believe him?
Well, it's not an easy sell, particularly when you look at all the stats even before this game. And obviously they've conceded 3 now, but I do think that particularly the senior players of Wolves have improved them tonight. I wouldn't say this team is going to be good enough to stay in the Premier League. They're going to have to do something in the window. There's no doubt about that. But there have been some decent signs today. I have to say at Fulham, I thought they were really out sorts. They've been better tonight, but they're still 3-0 now. We're only at 75 minutes, by the way. There's still a long time to go for this Wolves team.
And Fernandes playing it in here towards Joao Pedro, who chests it down. It's just headed back past him, but straight through into the hands of goalkeeper Johnston. Sam Johnston kicking the ball from hands, from the edge of his own penalty area, sending it long towards Strand Larsen. Kukureya's there, can knock it away. Strand Larsen was convinced that he was fouled. Referee didn't agree.
I thought he was too.
He's still down, chuntering away to himself. He's back on his feet now, walking disconsolately, and then immediately applying the pressure as the ball was laid back towards Fofana, but Chelsea can't get it away. Gusto sweeping it forward, and it goes out for a throw which will be taken by Hugo Bueno, but I think further change is going to be made before that throw can be taken, and we're going to see Gusto come off and Reece James come on to replace him.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Reece James. I think he's very unlucky not to get in this team. But you know, it's difficult because Larsen get an indication there of the psychology of what you're up against when you're down the bottom of the league in the Premier League. There's kind of, you know, the world's against you, the referees are against you, you don't get the free kicks, you don't get the breaks in the game. There's excuses for this, for that, and you get in a cycle. And when you talk about momentum, when Alex Ferguson talks about one of the great tools of the Premier League to win the Premier League is momentum, you also can get momentum the other way, of losing, of course. And Wolves are very much in that, and it's very difficult to break. There's been some signs tonight, but not enough.
Yep, after tonight, it's going to be 15 without a win in the Premier League, a run that stretches back to April the 26th. They've got a couple of League Cup wins in that time, but that's been it. Only one away point so far in 6 games after tonight. At the moment, only one away goal so far in those 6 games. So, as you say, momentum can go up and down. The changes that Chelsea have made, they made 2. James coming on for Gusto. Here's Joao Pedro now inside the area. Oh, Johnston! Has he saved it? No. And Mark Guiu coming on has somehow hit the post and put it wide. It was a shot that came in from Joao Pedro, wriggled through the grasp of Sam Johnston. And Mark Guiu, it's only been on seconds, came on, snuck in behind the goalkeeper on the slide, flicks it off the outside of the post.
He should have scored, I think. I mean, it's hard because I haven't seen the replay, but Johnson, as you say, the shot wasn't particularly hard, but he kind of lost it in his feet and hands, and it went in behind him, and it looked like just a tap-in. Whether Johnson's got a late hand to that to save it, I don't know, but it was a great gift of a chance.
So James for Gusto, Mark Guiu's come on for Pedro Neto, so Chelsea have taken 2 of the 3 goal scorers off. A yellow card is shown to Menezes for a poor challenge on Joao Pedro. But Marshall Menezes' 2nd yellow card of the season for the Zimbabwean international. Coming next for Wolves for the international break. It's always a good time to change your manager. Rob Edwards, we're expecting it will be him. We'll have a couple of weeks to work with these players, or some of these players, because some will be away, but just try and get his idea across and get his feet under the table. Then he's got Palace at home is his first game. Then he goes to Villa, then Forest and Manchester United at Molineux before a trip to Arsenal. So a mixed bag.
Well, I wouldn't call that a mixed bag. I'd call that a disastrous run of games, if I'm honest. So, you know, Rob's got it all to do. I mean, you say, you know, they say it's a good time to change the manager in the international window, but it isn't really, because you don't get all your players are away. Even this Wolves squad will all be internationals.
James finding Esteval. Chelsea looking for number 4. Hugo Bueno can get it away. Under pressure from the Brazilian, but he's been able to play down towards Mateus Mane. His touch a little bit heavy, and Caicedo nipped back in between him and the ball to win it. And then Enzo Fernandez turns it forward for Kukureya. Hair flowing behind him as he plays the Pass out towards Garnacho. Attacking the corner of the penalty area, and his left-footed cross is blocked by Chachua. And it goes out of play for a throw on the Chelsea left, down by the corner flags. We enter the final 10. Wolves 8 points adrift of safety.
Yeah.
They've got 2, and the dotted line is at 10 at the moment. So much work to do, but it's worth just reiterating the situation they were in last year, where they had 3 points in the first 10 games. They ended up with 42 in a season where, in reality, they actually only needed 26 to survive. So they stayed up very comfortably.
They did. They had a
but
great.
It's looking bleak now.
Yeah, they had a great run, and that can happen. As I say, Rob could come in, change it around, get some real momentum into people, change it a little bit in January, get some momentum with a couple of wins. But that's a long way off, and that's not an easy job to do. Particularly from the position they're in. They're minus 18, the goal difference. 2 points. Wow, it's a hell of a climb.
And they've got another corner to defend here as it comes in towards the near post. And Manetzi can get it away. Cleared out for Garnacho. Garnacho for Caicedo. Chipped over the top. Cucurella was in there lurking. Manetzi heads it away from him, but only out of play for another corner, which Reece James will go across to take. I think it's corner number 9 for Chelsea. They've taken it really quickly. Short to Cucurella, back for James, in for Estevao, inside left, inside the box. Oh, turned wide. And Mark Hughes missed another one from 3 yards out.
Well, that's the boy's talent right there. He's got it just down like the left-hand side of the box, and he's just burst into life like 3-4 yards. Got away before it, smashed it across the face of the goal, and it should be a goal. I mean, he's only had 3 or 4 moments, and they've all been absolutely different class. It's the first time live I've seen him, and I think he really does look exceptional, and just in this cameo.
Another double change for Chelsea. Enzo Fernandez and Joao Pedro come off, and Jamie Giddins and Andre Santos come on to replace him. Santos has scored at Wolves in the League Cup. Giddins' only Chelsea goal was the winner in that cup tie. So they're both on for the last 8 minutes. Perfect situation as far as Enzo Maresca is concerned. Made loads of changes the other day and didn't get the win that he wanted out in Azerbaijan. Loads of changes again today, but then has been able to manage the minutes of players within this match because of the healthy situation that they've been able to earn.
Yeah, it's always, so much easier for you as a manager when you're winning. Everything seems to fall in place.
Mane coming forward here for Wolves. Was he given a shove on the edge of the penalty area? Referee says no. He's given the free kick the other way.
Well, that's a poor decision. I mean, from where we're sitting, he's just pushed him in the back as he's trying to make his way. I think this is only his 3rd Premier League game, the referee. So, bit of a novice at this level, and definitely that was a mistake. He's getting severely spoken to by the Wolves centre-back.
And if he's missing the point from them, he's getting it from the Wolves fans as well.
Yeah.
But a free kick to Chelsea on the edge of their own penalty area. Mane's been quite lively for an 18-year-old, very lightly raced, thrown on in this invidious situation. He's certainly confident with the ball at his feet.
Yeah, and, whenever I see a young player, one thing you like to see with them is like a kind of body to them. And he looks a strong kid, even if he looks 18. He's got a body of a man, so he can deal with the physical side of it. And as you say, technically, that was a very good run.
Now Cucurella with a shocking back header. Manetzi running onto it, fires it just wide. Really well struck from the edge of the penalty area. Cucurella looks to the heavens and offers a silent prayer. He's got away with one there.
Yeah, and this Chelsea team are finding themselves, obviously there's a lot of games tomorrow, but at the moment they're 2nd in division, but they're not going to stay there for long. With the mistakes they make at the back, another glaring error, and for no reason, under no pressure really, and he almost gifted Wolves a goal, Cucurella, and they're going to have to cut that out of their game if they're going to get into a Champions League position this season or threaten for the title. that defensive mistake, error-prone stuff has got to go.
Another free kick has been given by referee Kitchen. This time it's a Chelsea ball and no complaints about it. In and around the edge of the centre circle as we go into the final 5 minutes. The table as it stands right now, halfway through week 11. Arsenal 26 from 11, Chelsea 20 from 11, City 19 from 10 ahead of their match with Liverpool tomorrow. Sunderland 19 from 11, Spurs 18 from 11, and Liverpool 18 from 10. At the bottom of the table, Wolves 2 from 11, Forest 6 from 10, West Ham after another win today 10 from 11, Burnley just above them on goal difference 10 from 11, and Leeds a further point clear of those two. So Premier League beginning to take shape, just past 1/4 distance. Cross comes Toddy Gomez and clears in the left back position for Wolves. Wins today for Everton, West Ham, Sunderland and Arsenal drew 2-2 with a very late equaliser from Sunderland and an even later one for Manchester United at Spurs, and that game also ended 2-2. Tomorrow we'll keep you abreast of all of the action throughout the course of the day with Sam Matterface throughout the afternoon. You're listening to Chelsea against Wolves on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk.
And Jim, I add, do not forget the final word with Madge and Pardew. Sunday evening. I'm just making a point.
I knew that you would plug it much more eloquently than me, so I will...
very well said.
I will let you do that.
Okay.
I've dug my way out. Here's Santi Buena getting it clear for Krejci. 3.5 to go. Played down towards Toddy Gomez. Joao Gomez leading it back for Andre to Johnston. Johnston out to Krejci. Krejci playing it back inside his penalty area for Andre, who can turn and get it away and flick it with the outside of the boot for Strand Larsen. Back it comes for Andre again. It's a beautiful ball along the deck out to the right hand side for Chachua. Munetsi making a run ahead of him, and he's played in. It's level with the edge of the penalty area. The man that's come closer to scoring for Wolves than anyone else. Back for Chachua once more. Andre has got Esteval coming in and making life difficult behind him. He can poke it forward for Joao Gomez. So Wolves looking for what surely will be a consolation with only 2.5 minutes to go. Now the ball is played towards the byline, and a miss-hit cross from Munetsi just plops into the hands of Robert Sanchez. 3-0.
Yeah, Andre, he's a class player, and he's shown moments tonight. There's little bits in this team. Gomez, of course, Larsen at the top of the pitch. There's bits to hang on for Rob to kind of think he could get him out of it. But wow, they're going to have to find a starting 11 that defends a lot better than this. That's now 7 games without a clean sheet, 7 defeats. That's a real kind of figures that you do not want to see when you've got 2 points on the board.
Joint lowest scorers coming into this weekend with the worst defensive record. It's not a heady combination, that. Is Mane. That's a good ball forward. Strand Larsen, and it's wide of the near post from a quite tight angle.
Yeah, he's starved of chances and quality, and he's forced it a little bit there, which is a centre forward's trait, really. When you're just not getting any service, you're just trying to make something happen. Can't blame him for that, but unfortunately Wolves haven't really done much second half, have they? They've not really done enough. Forget about the goals they've conceded. Going forward, just not enough.
No, just the one shot inside the box in the entire game for Wolves, who currently trail 3-0. For the latest odds, head to Betfair, the official betting partner of Talksport's Premier League coverage, where right now you can get Wolves at 500 to 1, the draw at 500 to 1. Will there be another goal? Over 3.5 goals, 23 to 10. That's all thanks to Betfair, playing a different league this season with Safe Sub from Betfair, 18+, gambleaware.org. We've got a minute plus 4, we think, to go. And Sanchez has got the ball at his feet, and it's been still for about 6 seconds. Now he will drive it out towards Garnacho, who took a step towards it and then drifted in behind Chachua. A slightly naive defending from the young man there. Garnacho beating him, but it eventually goes out of play, and is Garnacho offside? What's the decision there? The free kick to Wolves, or is he given the throw?
Well,
it is a throw over on that far side.
I thought it was a foul. first and foremost by Garnacho, but Mr. Kitchen didn't see it like that.
Krejci back to Johnston with pace, a bouncing ball from about 7 yards out. He got it away, hooked it clear into those 4 additional minutes. 3-0 Chelsea lead. And the ball is played down to the right-hand side for Gittins. Gittins controlling it, just showing it to Hugo Bueno and then flicking it back away from him. Back it goes for Reece James. Fafana to his left-hand side for Chalobah. James has got it again. James turning into the feet of Esteban. Giddins will take it on. Mark Guiu should have had 2 since coming on. Lays it off. Garnacho with a shot that's blocked by Chachua. Ricochets back out towards the left-hand touchline, and Garnacho runs round it and has it again. Now Giddins playing it back wide for Cucurella. Cucurella controlling it near the edge of the box. So Chelsea just running the clock down, but trying to get themselves in a position that they can ask one more question of this Wolves back line to make an even more comprehensive victory. They might be able to do it now. It's James with a good ball forward for Gittins. Very well covered by the retreating Bueno. He's out for another corner.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at it from Chelsea's point of view, there's been some good performances tonight. Casido's been good. The 2 centre-backs who haven't moved the ball quickly have defended okay. The 2 wing-backs have done well. But Fernandes, for me, has stood out. I think he's been quality all night. And although there's loads of changes at the top of the pitch, he's been the consistent one. Consistently good. And, when you look at their midfield, Chelsea really is the strength of this team. And Garnacho, I think, has done well tonight out on that left-hand side. He might become a regular in this team if he performs like he did tonight.
James has got it on halfway. From him to Estevao. James back for Sanchez again, taking a touch inside his penalty area and playing it out from the back. It's not been a happy hunting ground for years, this, as far as Wolves are concerned. That Cunha hat-trick apart in that sensational 4-2 win back in 2024, but it's only going to be 1 win in 12 here at Stamford Bridge for Wolves after tonight. But more pressingly, no wins in 15 Premier League games. A run that is fast approaching 7 months now. Ball out for a Wolves throw in their left-back position that Hugo Bueno will take it. A throw that was launched at a difficult height for Krejci, who could only hitch it away, really. Easier for him to take a touch this time. He'll lay it back for Johnston. And Johnston will clear through the midfield. It's picked up by Chachua. Now worked for by Santi Bueno. Krejci coming forward towards halfway. Down for Hugo Bueno again. Home fans singing their side home. They've had the frustration here recently with the defeats to Brighton and Sunderland. No frustration tonight once the deadlock was broken.
Yeah, there was only one winner once they'd scored. And, they're still messing around with it there.
So João Gomez taking it back inside his own penalty area and inviting a challenge from James, but when it came, it was a foul. Next up for Chelsea, Burnley away. Then Barcelona and Arsenal here in the same week.
Yeah, nice. Good games for Chelsea. I mean, I can imagine in that Chelsea dressing room, as in Manchester City and Liverpool will both be in hotels tonight, when that second Sunderland goal went in, give them all a bit of a lift.
Absolutely. Just stopped Arsenal getting away that little bit further. The lead at the top, 7 points, with Man City having a game in hand tomorrow. And Cucurella has the last touch of the night, clearing here from the edge of his own penalty area. Well, there were muted boos an hour ago at half-time when Chelsea left the field, but a standing ovation from those left in at Stamford Bridge now, because they were excellent in the second half once Malo Gusto scored his first career goal to get them ahead. João Pedro then benefited from Esteban's first contribution just a minute after the young Brazilian came off the bench. Neto made it 3. Couple of assists for Garnacho, and whilst Wolves were really game until they went 1-0 down, they fell away as a byproduct, I think, of the situation they find themselves in. Be interesting to see when Rob Edwards takes over, and we expect that will be the case over the next 36 hours. Exactly what the building blocks we've seen tonight for Wolves he might be able to build on. They are in this invidious position, only 2 points from 11 games, but as they stand right now at the end of the day, Chelsea are second in the league. They've beaten Wolves tonight here on Talksport by 3-0.
Thank you very much, Jim. A fascinating game for various reasons, and really interesting to watch the body language of the Wolves players. They are devastated by yet another defeat in the Premier League, but they actually just kept pushing and pushing right till the end to try and get themselves a goal. Even if it was just going to be a consolation, it would have been a confidence boost at least for them, because they had kept themselves in this match for the first 45 minutes, defended absolutely brilliantly, but they just don't have enough up front paths at the moment, and they're going to need an injection not just of confidence, but perhaps some tactical shifts additionally as they head over to the shed end to applaud the away fans that have been with them through thick and thin this season, but their support is starting to dwindle. They're getting more and more frustrated by what they're seeing. The Chelsea fans, however, expect a lot from their team, and they do see it eventually, even if those silly defensive mistakes that Enzo Maresca talked about midweek still do keep creeping in. When you have players like Esteval that you can bring on, and it is fireworks weekend, Pards, but I tell you what, the oohs and the ahs were for him straight away. Now, I have seen him live about 4 times since he joined, and every time I'm up off my seat, as the fans are, and you felt like that when he came on, and it felt as if he came on and really changed the game again.
Yeah, he did. He definitely injected a little bit of energy and quality. You know, when you see great technical players move with the ball and it's kind of stuck to their foot, and I can only kind of compare him to those great players that I've seen at that age. Ronaldo, Maradona, you know, Messi. He has that kind of movement about him. I'm reluctant to say their names because they're obviously super world stars, but he definitely got something special going on there. And,
he glides, doesn't he?
Yeah, and of course he has a turn of pace that just leaves people dead, and that's a great quality to have when you've got great technical ability as well. So, you know, they've got a great player here, Chelsea. There's no doubt, and they're going to have to be very sensible how they use him and how they cultivate him. But, you know, his talent is banging on the door, very much so.
It is indeed. And there were a lot of Chelsea fans kind of raising eyebrows when D'Alejandro Garnacho was signed in the summer. But actually, he's played brilliantly for Chelsea. When he plays and when he's on form, he's relentless in his work ethic. And the balls that he can deliver in the box are a pinpoint, as we saw with that third goal.
Yeah, I mean, he plays on that left-hand side, and his left foot is probably his weaker foot. You know, when he goes down the outside, I'd like to see a little bit more quality from him. But the once he comes, when he gets on that right foot, those in-swinging shots, those in-swinging crosses from that right foot are really top draw. And his attitude and his application at Man United was questioned. You can't question him in his performances here at Chelsea. He's been absolutely terrific. So, no, he was good tonight. I thought I'd pitch him in my top 5 players for Chelsea, and I think I'd be very pleased with him if I was the manager.
Yeah, well, if he's in your top 5, I'm fascinated to know who's your number 1, because that's what I'm going to ask you next, because it's time for us to pick our player of the match with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
The Here For It hero on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
Okay, out of those top 5 players that you've selected, Pards, who gets your Here For It hero?
Well, he's a World Cup winner. That gives you a bit of a clue. But Enzo Fernandez, right? Now, I'm a central midfield player. He'd done some things tonight that I couldn't even possibly dreamed of. His vision of first-time passes in behind people. Sometimes they're not easy to detect, but they was free tonight. They were just off the scowl. And in that first half, when they were struggling to break Wolves down, He was the only player who really had something special to kind of unlock the door. His positional play was great. He never took chances when he doesn't over-elaborate. He keeps it simple when he needs to. If you want to be a professional central midfield player in the game, come and watch this boy play, and he'll give you all the clues and all the ingredients you need to be a top player.
Yeah, he is incredible. And actually, he had their first chance of the game as well, I think. And he set the standard, that's for sure. And you used a word towards the end of the match, which was consistent. He is consistently good, isn't he? And Enzo Fernandez is our Here For It hero, player of the match from tonight's game with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.